I wasn't going to make a video on this, but people are telling me that I shouldn't be able to vote, so I think I should talk about it. I do know what I'm talking about because I live in LA and I work in the industry. Maybe I should have said that in the last video, and you know, you learn something new. So people are saying don't attribute malice when you can attribute incompetence. I'm looking away because I took notes. Decisions made by Hollywood are extremely calculated because millions or billions of dollars are at stake. So the decisions are made by a lot of market research and focus groups. So everything is extremely intentional. When people are like, well, it was a woman director, so did she, you know, do this herself? Writers and directors often don't have a say in the final product. The producers and shareholders have a lot of say in the final edit. So my point was also proven, which I didn't even know about this, when the entire writing team for Silk was fired for like a more male-centered audience, which is so dystopian. Okay, number one comment was about Morbius. And I don't even think I should have to talk about that because it has nothing to do with this, because men's movies can flop too. The thing that is clearly intentional is that the movie flopped and then they hired the team again for this movie. They could have made a flop or a hit, and they chose to make a flop to not take these women characters seriously. The end. Okay, and I see another argument about spider movies because they have to make spider movies to keep their contract. Yeah, totally. So why not make it good? The budget for the last Spider-Man movie, like the main Tom Holland one, that was $160 million, and this movie's budget was $80 million. Clearly, that was intentional. Okay, and interrupting myself here because I understand that the Spider-Man, like most recent Spider-Man movies were made by Marvel. I was just looking at Sony movies as a more direct comp because those would probably be the same producers, and Venom has a much higher budget than Madam Web. Okay, back to the video. So back to market research and focus groups. Unfortunately, because this movie was made the way that it was, one can then assume that focus groups told producers that people don't want women in these types of roles. Audiences don't want to see women in powerful and strong roles. So people are like, well, what about Barbie? Barbie made a ton of money. Women can be in movies. They just need to play certain types of roles. They cannot be strong. They want them to be soft, sweet, and exploring. By the way, I did love Barbie. That's a whole other argument. So if market research is telling us that audiences want white men as superheroes, shouldn't we just let that happen? Absolutely not. So it's a chicken or the egg. Audiences aren't used to seeing people of color and women in powerful roles. I'm pulling up a study from Common Sense Media. Okay, this is a quote. Despite being 18% of the population, Latinos only make up 5% of speaking roles. Characters of color in shows most watched by children aged 2 to 13 are more likely to be depicted as violent, and women of all ethnic, racial groups in adult programming are more likely to appear in sexualized roles. So, Madam Web does bad. Then they don't make action figures of Madam Web. These kids don't grow up believing that they can or should be strong, powerful, or heroic. They believe what they see reflected in the programming that they are fed. Good movies about women and non-white superheroes are